Hi, booktube. It's Gina. Happy Tuesday. How are you? I'm doing pretty well. It's beautiful. It's sunny here. I absolutely love the sun. I love the warm weather. It makes me really happy. Not everybody loves it, but I love it. Today, I wanted to talk to you about my most reread novels. I've seen a few people doing this, and I just thought it was a really fun idea. So I'm going to share. Sorry, I keep looking around. I have a cat who, my old cat Josie, she's having some bladder issues. Poor little thing. So she's having some bladder issues, and I've got puppy pee pads all over the house, and I'm trying to grab her when she tries to go to the bathroom and pop her in the litter box, but she's in pain, so we're just trying to deal with it. So I've got her in the corner of my eye. So the most reread novels. Now, we've got a lot of new subscribers here. Thank you so much, everybody. We hit 5,000 subscribers. Can you believe it? I'm just so honored that you're here. Thank you so much. And I thought sharing my most read novels, which are probably also my favorites, would be a fun way to introduce myself to all of our new people, show you what I love to read, and just talk a little bit about some of my favorite books. So these are my most reread novels. And I've seen a lot of people doing this on YouTube, and I think it's such a fun idea. So I've got a pile here. What do we want to start with? Let's start with, now, if you've been around for a while, none of these books are going to be a surprise to you. I've talked about them all before, but this is, of course, The Fellowship of the Ring. Now, I'm going to include the whole Lord of the Rings in this. I consider it, one book, even though it's broken into three. So this I read for the first time when I was probably 10 or 11, and I fell in love with it then. It was a very pivotal book for me. Started me on kind of my reading of more adult books and fantasy books, and I love this book. I love everything about it. I try to reread it, maybe not every year, but I've reread it a lot, and every time I do, I love it just as much as I did the time before. So that is number one. Next, let's do another kids book. This one is The Wind in the Willows. Now, this is not the edition that I actually read. I mean, I read it in this edition, but this is not the actual book that I read. I, for whatever reason, did not save that, which is a bummer. But this one I love. It's in pretty good shape. But this book, The Wind in the Willows, this is actually the one that I owned as a kid. I read it around the same time as I read The Lord of the Rings. And what I remember about this book is that I was 9, so I was actually a little bit younger. I had just turned 9, and my aunt and uncle and my two little cousins were coming to visit us, and we were going to drive back with them to Texas where they lived. And so we did a road trip, my sister and I. We squished into their little, I think it was a Dodge Dart. So there were my aunt, my uncle, me, my sister, and my two cousins, and it's a little tiny car we squished in. But this was the book that I took with me on that trip. And so it has wonderful, wonderful memories associated with it. And in addition to just being a really special physical book to me, I love the writing style of this. This book has got beautiful illustrations, which I absolutely love. I wish it was in a little bit better shape. I definitely beat it up. But I love it. I wrote, for whatever reason, my my phone number down here. I don't know, but yes, I love this. I reread this one all the time. Now, that's going to be a given with some of these. Actually, some of these books I've only reread a couple times, but they still count. Next, in honor of Jane Austen July, I'm going to show you my Persuasion. And this is my most read Jane Austen. It's my favorite. I love it. This is the Chiltern edition, which is beautiful, but it's got these weird plastic pages that I don't really care for. I usually read this on my Kindle. Oh, and actually I've also got, I have a really cool edition that I've had for a really long time. I don't know where it is. I don't know where that is. I don't know. Now I'm confusing myself because I have a little orange copy that I love and I don't see it here. That's very strange. So anyway, Persuasion, my most reread Jane Austen. As I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a scatterbrained video today. Next is Harry Potter. I have reread the Harry Potter series a few times. I've listened to it when I was commuting to work every day. This was such a fun book to listen to on audio. And that was back in the day of books on CD before everything was on your phone. It was a long time ago. So this is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This actual physical book, this book is really special to me because this book I bought in Santa Barbara. I was traveling with a dear friend who I love, and we were there for September 11th. So it's actually the September 11th. So I bought this book at Barnes & Noble. We were on the airplane on September 11th, coming home. I was getting ready to read this book, and we taxied out and then turned around and taxied back in. And we were like, what is going on? So we actually ended up renting a truck and the last vehicle on the lot and driving home, which was an adventure. But I will always have super special fond memories of this because of where I was when I was reading it. Let's see. Next are three books that I love. This one is 84 Charing Crossroad by Helene Hanff. Now, this book, this is a little Foxed edition, which I love. It's got a little tiny little cover on it. And when they mail it to me, they put a little card in, which I think is so sweet. Slightly foxed, not foxed. And I love this book. I also love the movie. If you haven't seen the movie with Anne Bancroft and Anthony Perkins. Anthony, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. Anthony Hopkins. It's wonderful. Next is, all right, I'm going to pick a Caribbean mystery by Agatha Christie. This is just a representation of all of the Agatha Christies. I reread them a lot. I actually still have some Agatha Christies that I have not read, which is exciting. But when I'm in the mood, I pick her up and reread, and it's a wonderful comfort read. Next is, all right, this is a funny series. This is The Cat Who Ate Danish Modern. This is the third, I think, in the Cat Who mystery series by Lillian Jackson Braun. And there are how many? I don't know, 15 books in the series. They're very silly. They're very dated. The main character, Jim Quillerin, is a bit of a sexist. So some of that is a little challenging, but I love these books. The cats, Coco and Yum Yum, help him solve mysteries by knocking books off of shelves and giving him little clues by what they're eating, or they put their, it's ridiculous, but it's really, really fun. I love them. And this is just a sheer, pure comfort read for me. I've reread through this series a couple times, and they're just super easy, very light, really, really fun reading. And then I've saved my last two, my favorites, for the last two. You guys know how I feel about my beloved Miss Read. This is news from Thrush Green. I've got my Thrush Green series in beautiful hardbacks here also. But I pulled this actual one out specifically because this little book, the physical book, has a lot of really special meaning to me. Unfortunately, I lost the top of it, but I was reading this back in 2013. My mother was ill, and I was driving back and forth between our homes regularly. And I remember this was the first Miss Read that I ever read. I remember getting up to my mom's house and saying, "Mom, I've discovered this author. She's wonderful. You've got to read her. You'll love it." And she looked at me like, "Gina, I've been reading Miss Read forever." She said, I didn't think you'd like it because you always like intellectual books." And I was like, "What? Mother, do you not know me at all?" Of course I love this. So this book is very special to me and started me on my love of Miss Read, which ultimately is what started me on this channel. So thank you to Miss Read for so many wonderful things in my life. And then lastly, my favorite author, I think, this is September by Rosman Pilcher. Now, of course, it's a given with Miss Read and with Rosman Pilcher that I've read. Actually, there are a couple of Miss Reads that I have not read. I have not read all of her Fairacre series, but I've read all of the Thrush Green series, and I reread that one probably every year. It's so cozy. And same thing for Rosman Pilcher. Now, I have read all of the Rosman Pilcher books that are written under her name, and this is one of my favorites. I remember when I first saw this book, it was at the library. I was working as a nanny for a very sweet family. I was taking them to story hour at the library, and I saw this, sitting on one of those rounds, and for whatever reason, it grabbed my attention, and I picked it up, and the rest is history. And I love this book. I love Rosman Pilcher. So my Pilcher collection is up here. She's got some paperbacks that are, they're her shorter books. They're not as good. She's got the longer books that I love. And then she's also got some books that she wrote under the name Jane Fraser. So I have not read all of these. They're very hard to find, and when you do find them, they're very, very expensive. But September is one of my favorites. It's got a great old lady main character that I love, and just a very sweet story with some challenging elements to it, and her writing is beautiful. I just love her writing style so much. So that is it for me. What are your most reread novels? Do you have favorites? I'd love to hear about them in the comments down below.